Okay, good day, everyone. My name is Ismail Shigeke. I am the lead tutor at Smart Minds Science Academy. So, in our lesson today, we are going to be discussing about algebra and some basic things that we need to know about algebra. So, we're going to be taking it bit by bit until it becomes a whole that we can work with. So, when we say algebra is just a type of mathematics in which letters and symbols are used to represent particular quantities. So it's a mathematics of letters and numbers. So in algebra, you see a lot of 3x, 4p, 8y, and the like, stuff like this. So how can we manipulate these things? How can we perform mathematical operations with them? How do we add them? How do we subtract them? How do we multiply them? How do we divide them? So those are the things that we'll be learning in this lesson, algebra. So basically in mathematics, we can write 3 times 2, or we can write 3 plus 3. Now, this, or we can write 2 plus 2 plus 2. These three things are the same thing. Either you do 3 times 2, 3 plus 2, 2 plus 2 plus 2. It is saying 3 in 2 places, or 2 in 3 places, which is all the same. 3 times 2 is 6, 3 plus 3 is 6, 2 plus 2 plus 2 is still 6. Also, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 12. 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12, which still means the same thing as what 3 times 4 or 4 times 3. You can see they all go back to the same thing. Now, similarly, if we write A plus A plus A, this can stand for 3 times A. A plus A plus A. 3 times A. Just like we have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. How many 3s are there? 4 times 1, 3. Do you understand? How many A's are here? 3 times 1, 3. So A plus A plus A means what? 3A. Also, X plus X plus X means what? 3X. Q plus Q plus Q plus Q plus Q means what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times Q, which is what? 5Q. Now, in all these examples, three A, 3X, and 5Q are all examples of an algebraic expression. Why? Because it contains a number and a letter, a number and a letter, a number and a letter, or even a letter alone. Do you understand? So algebraic expression is the mathematics of what? Numbers and letters. I believe that is clear. Now, in these examples here, we say 3. Is the coefficient of A and X. When we say coefficient, as we explained in the previous video, a coefficient is a number that stands in front of a letter. So in the example 5Q, 5 is also the coefficient of Q. 5 is also the number standing in front of what? In front of Q. Now, at this point, it's very important that I mention something if you really understand coefficients. So let me write a series of more expressions, and let's see how we do with understanding coefficients. So let's say I have 4x squared minus 3y cubed plus 8x minus 9. So what's the coefficient of x squared? Coefficient of x squared. I just wrote the short form of coefficient here. Coefficient of x squared. That's the number in front of x squared, which is 4. Now the coefficient of y raised to power 3, you can see that. That is the number in front of y raised to power 3, which is what? Negative 3, not just 3, negative 3. Because the sign is very important. Now the coefficient of x is the number in front of x, which is what? 8. I believe this is clear. So coefficient basically just means the number in front of what? In front of an algebraic expression. Similarly, let's say I have x or I have p. Ordinarily, we're supposed to say we have 1x. This is supposed to be written as 1x. Or this is supposed to be written as 1p. But we are writing it as x. Why? In mathematics, if something is 1, we only represent that thing by saying a boy. In mathematics, normally, if something is 1, we do not say one boy, like we do it in English, or one girl. We just say a boy or a girl. We prefer not to put the number in front of a single entity. One pen. You just say P to represent the pen. 5 bananas. That's because the number is 5. One banana, we just say a banana. So if it is more than 1, we have to signify the number in front of it, because if you write x, we understand that there is a 1 here. That's how you can write x. But putting a 1 here is like a tautology in mathematics. So we prefer to just say x or y or p or q, and not what? 1x, not 1y, not 1p, and not 1q. I believe this is clear. So avoid 1x, 1y, 1p, 1q. Rather say x, y, p, q. So this is preferred, and not 1x, 1y, 1p, and 1q. I believe this is clear. If this is clear, then we can move to performing operations with algebraic expressions. How do we perform operations with algebraic expressions? Mathematical operations. So let's say I have 5x plus 2x. Or I have 7p plus 5p. Example 3, I have 5j plus 17q. Example 4, I have 13x plus 7y minus 2x. Now, before we move to complex examples, let's try our hands on this and understand the basic thing to do. Before you can add algebraic expressions together, you have to check for one thing. Check if they are of the same term. So you check the terms that you are trying to add together. Are they of the same term? What do we mean the same term? Do they have the same letters? If they have the same letters, that's the only way you can add them together. And the only thing you add is the numbers in front of them. So in this case, you're just going to add 5 plus 2. And that would give us what? 7x. So that means that 5x plus 2x will give us 7x. Remember, we can only add them if they have the same term. If they have the same term, x, x. Second example, 7p plus 5p. Check. Are they of the same term? P, P. Yes. Then we can go ahead and add the numbers in front of them. 7 plus 5. That gives 12. 7 plus 5 is 12. Then you add a p to it, 12p. So that's the answer to this. Example 3. 5j plus 17q. Are they of the same term? J and Q? No. So that means that we can't add. So you leave your answer like this, 5j plus 17q, and that's your answer. You can't do anything further in mathematics. You just leave it like this, 5j plus 17q. Now, example 4 requires us to do something very interesting, regrouping. You can see that we have x, we have y, we have x. So the x's, you group them together. So the 13x and the negative 2x, you bring them together. 13x, you are just going to shift negative 2x to this side. Don't forget, when you shift, you have to move the guy with its symbol, with its sign. So 2x, now the sign is negative, so you have to bring negative. So negative 2x, then you shift the 7y to the back with sign, plus 7y. It's just you saying, okay, you are not ready, right? Allow me go forward. So 7y is not ready because it's a different guy entirely. It's a y. You can't add letters of different. You can't add different letters together. You can only add similar letters. So 13x minus 2x. Now this is subtraction. So 13 minus 2 is 11. So our answer is going to be 11x plus 7y. Even here we can't do anything further because x and y are of different terms. So the basic rule in operation on algebraic expressions is to check if they have the same symbol. If they have the same symbol, you add them together. If not, you leave them the way they are. So let's take another example. I have 5p plus 7q minus p plus 2q. Now, in this case, we can see p and p. Let's group them together. So 5p. Now, this p you are moving, you have to move it with its sign, minus. So 5p minus p. Then the 7q would follow, plus 7q, then 2q plus 2q. So what is 5p minus 7 minus p? 5p minus p. Remember I told you that there is a 1 in front of this p, but we do not write it, which is called understood 1. It's a 1 that we understand, but we do not write. A 1 that we understand, but we do not write. There is an understood 1. We do not write it. But we know that it is present. So that would mean that 5 minus 1, that's what we are going to do. That will give us a 4, then we put the p. Plus, then 7 plus 2, that's 9q. And it's going to be our answer. So I believe when you see more examples in your practice sheets, you should be able to solve basic operations on algebraic expressions, the basic ones on algebraic expressions. So now, we quickly move to another very interesting aspect, which is the rules of addition and subtraction. Rules of addition and subtraction. So it's very important that we discuss these rules because these rules are what determine if we are going to be able to solve complex questions or not. The basic rules of addition and subtraction. Now, let's say I want to do 5x plus 8x. I equally want to do 5x minus 8x. I equally want to do 5x minus 8x, and I equally want to do minus 5x minus 8x. Sorry, plus 8x. Now, what do you observe here? In these four cases, they are different. Here you have a 5x. Now, when a number starts in mathematics, we also have an understood positive sign in front of it. Unless if the number is not a positive sign. Look at this 5x. What is the sign of this 5x? It's a positive. But we ordinarily would not put it. Why? Because once a number is starting and it is positive, we need not write the number. Everybody understands that what is a positive one present in that number. So if you do not understand before now you understand. So if I write 3x plus 4 minus 7 plus 3, if I ask you what is the sign of this 3x, it is a positive. What is the sign of this 4? It is plus. But because it is coming in between numbers, we have to show the sign. So you can't tell me 3x, then 4, minus 7, then 3. I say, okay, you guys should understand that there's a plus here. No. If it is in between numbers, you have to put the sign. But if it is starting, you need not put the sign. So in the case of this first example here, 5x plus 8x. Because this 5x is a positive, we need not put the plus. But look at the next example, negative 5x. We need to put it because now this 5x is not positive anymore. It is a negative 5x. Now, the third example, 5x, still positive. That's why we are not putting a plus. And in the last example, it is negative. So I put all these numbers together to enable you to solve complex questions and help you with the intuition. So this is the fourth example, this is the second example, this is the third, and this is the fourth. Now, 5x plus 8x, that's very simple. So there's a rule. If the signs are the same, if the signs of the algebra you want to add are the same, pick one of the signs, then add the numbers together. If the signs are the same, so rule number one, if the signs are the same, similar, or the same, that is, you have plus on the first term and you have plus on the second term. Or you have minus on the first term and you have minus on the second term. If the signs are the same, so what do? Pick one of the signs, add the numbers together. So rule number one, let's apply the first two. The first two is applicable for the first two questions. Now look at this case, 5x plus 8x. Are the signs the same? Yes, the signs of the two terms are the same. Plus 5x plus 8x. So you pick one of the signs plus, and you add the numbers together. 5 plus 8, that's the 13x. That's our answer. So because this is the first time we are writing, you did not put the plus sign. Remember, you cannot say 13x. And everybody understands that it's plus 13x. I believe this is clear. If the signs are the same, pick one of the signs, then add the numbers. In second example, minus 5x minus 8x. The signs are the same, minus, minus. Pick one of the signs, minus. Don't forget. Pick one of the signs, minus. Then add the numbers together. Don't forget, add the numbers together. 5 plus 8, that's a 13x. So because it's a negative, you have to indicate negative, so it's negative 13x. So you can't take out the negative and say, okay, you guys should understand that it's a negative. No, we only understand for a positive sign, not a negative sign. For the first two guys, the first rule is applicable. If the signs are the same, pick one of the signs, then add the numbers together. Now, I'm going to give you guys the pictorial view of what we just did. Exactly what really is going on. I have plus 5x, I have 8x. Let's take x to be naira or pounds or any currency depending on where you're watching the video, or AED. Let's say I have 5. Let's say I have 5 pounds plus 8 pounds, or 5 naira plus 8 naira. All together, how much do I have? I have 13 naira. That's the amount I have. In the case of negative, That's example B now. Let's say I have negative 5 naira. That means I'm owing someone 5 naira. I'm owing another person 8 naira. Altogether, how much am I owing? I am owing 13 naira. I owe person A 5 naira. I owe person B 8 naira. Altogether, I am owing 13 naira. You can see why the negative sign is important. It's still showing that I'm owing. So sometimes it becomes very difficult for students to understand what is going on. That's why I came up with this rule. Now, once the signs are similar, pick one of the signs, then add them together. So negative 5x, negative 8x, pick one of the signs, negative, then add 5 to 8. You have a 13, and that saves you the stress of anything you want to do. Now, let's look at the third and the fourth examples. So 5x minus 8x. Now, if the signs are different, that is, we have negative on the first term and positive on the second term, or positive on the first term and negative on the second term. Either ways, what do? Pick the sign of the bigger number. So you pick the sign of the bigger number. Then subtract the small number from the big number. Very simple. If the signs are different, 5x minus 8x, this 5 has a positive. Remember, we know the positive, we don't write it. But for benefit, because of this example, I'm going to put the positive. And the negative 8x has a different sign. So plus and minus now. In this case, we are asked to pick the sign of the big number. So 5 and 8, which one is big? 8. So we pick the sign of 8, minus. That's the first thing we do. Then you remove the small number from the big number. So take 5 from 8. What do you have left? 3. Then you put the symbol. Minus 3x. Minus 3x. So again, if the signs are different, pick the sign of the big number. In this case, 5x and 8x. Which one is the big number? 8. So we pick the sign of 8, minus. Now remove the small number from the big number. Now let's come to practicality. What exactly are we doing? I have 5 naira, plus means I have. But I am owing someone 8 naira. Because negative means you are owing. I have 5 naira and I'm owing 8 naira. Out of the 8 naira that I am owing, if I pay the person 5 naira, do I have 3 naira or I am owing 3 naira? I am owing 3 naira. Why? Because the debt I have on my neck is more than the money I have with me. So in that case, I am running on what? On a loss. I still have debt of 3 naira to clear. So negative 3x. Now let's look at the final example. Negative 5x plus 8x. Negative 5x plus 8x. Again, the signs are different, negative and positive. What do? We pick the sign of the bigger number, positive. Because 8 is bigger than 5. So we pick the sign of 8. Now we remove this big number from this, we remove the small number from the big number. So remove 5 from 8. What do you have? You have 3x. But remember that we really do not need to put the plus, so we cannot say 3x without the plus. Because we all understand that without the plus, it means what? Plus, if it is starting. So in this case now, I am owing 5 naira, but I have 8 naira with me. I'm owing 5 naira, and somebody just gifted me 8 naira. I'm owing 15 naira, somebody gifted me 18 naira. So if I decide to pay the person that is owing me, which is the best thing to do to clear off your debt, I decided to pay the person that is owing me 15 naira. I will still have 30 naira left with me. So that's exactly how we solve. And I call this rules of addition and subtraction. In fact, we have a video on YouTube where we explain these rules in depth. You can also do well to check, see exactly what we did there. So with this, this would really help you in solving more complex questions. When you see questions that you need to apply some basic rules, this would help you. So I'm going to solve an example of that question here so that you guys can know exactly what I'm talking about. So just one example and then I'll move to the next important thing. Example 1. So let's say I have 15p minus 13q plus 14r minus 18p minus 4q plus 10r. Now we have different letters, different algebra. We can see P, P, Q, Q, R, R, right? So let's group them. That is the first thing you do. The first thing is grouping. Grouping. That is collect like terms. So there's a thing in English that birds of a feather flock together. So let's put the P's together, the R together, the Q together. So, and it's better we arrange them in alphabetical order. So P comes before Q before R. So let's do it that way. So 15P, that's this guy. Then the next is the next P, that's negative 18P. Don't forget that we are going to carry it with the sign in front of it, negative 18P. Then a Q, negative 13Q. There's another Q, negative 4Q. Then R, positive 14R. Then the next R, positive 10R. Now 15P, negative 18P. You can see now the signs are different. What do? We take the sign of the bigger number, negative, which is 18. Then remove 15 from 18, so you have 3p. As simple as that. 15p minus 18p. Take the sign of the bigger number, negative. Remove the small number from the big number, 15 from 18, you have 3. Now, negative 13q, negative 4q. The signs are the same. So we pick one of the signs, negative, and we add the number together. 13 plus 4, that's 17, then the letter Q. Then 14R plus 10R, that's very simple. 14R plus 10R, that's just 24R. And this is our answer. So you can't do anything further than just leaving your answer the way it is. You can't do anything further than just leaving your answer the exact same way it is. Okay, let's take another example. Example 2. I have 14A plus 16A minus 10B plus minus 18A plus 7B plus C. Now, in this case, again, we have mixture of numbers of algebra terms. So let's group the A's together. 14A plus 16A. We can even do that straight up, but let's do 14A plus 16A. Then we bring this negative 18A. Then we shift negative 10B to the other side, plus 7B, then plus C. C has only one term, so let's write C. So 14 plus 16, that's 30. Now, 30 minus 18, that's actually very simple. That's 12A. Then negative 10B, positive 7B. Again, we take the sign of the bigger number, negative. Then remove 7 from 10. That's 3B plus C. And that's our answer. C, we'll just leave it as C, nothing. Because it has no other term to pair with. You understand? So I believe with this, we've done a couple of things. The next thing you should be expecting after this video is to work on your practice sheet. So algebra is actually very simple, and we hope to take it bit by bit. In the next class, we're going to be moving to multiplying and dividing algebraic terms. So after which, if we do that, we are then going to move to orders of operation with algebra. So we learn very interesting things about BODMAS and how to simplify them. So in the next video, what we are going to be doing is multiplying and dividing algebraic terms. But you're going to have a practice sheet where you go over everything that we've explained. So please and ensure that you do your worksheets. It's very important so that we can know exactly where we still need to make more videos for you to understand what we've explained. Thank you so much for your time. We hope to see you in the next video. Bye.